This is Colin McGuigan for IFLTV. Delighted to be joined by Jalil Hackett. Jalil, obviously in Orlando for probably the biggest fight of your career. How are you feeling coming into this, and how has camp been?
I'm feeling great. Like I've been saying, and like a lot of people have been saying, most young guys wouldn't have, tried to run it back immediately with the guy that they just suffered their first loss to. Um, but I was like, no, hell no. I don't want to fight nobody but him. I felt like we did enough to get the win in the fight in December, but the judges didn't feel that way. And after watching the fight a few times, I didn't feel that way. So it was like, shit, let's get back in the ring as soon as possible. And, this go around, let's make it more dominant.
What were your thoughts when you watched that fight back?
I could have did more. I left a lot on the table.
I don't know if you remember this, but in the immediate aftermath of that, I spoke to Eddie Hearn on an interview, and I seen that you shared it at the time, where he spoke about, backing you. He understood that, he wants his fighters in real fights, and you were in a real fight, and you came up short, but he appreciated that, you just didn't do enough on that night, and he wanted to give you another opportunity. When you heard those words from Eddie Hearn, what did that mean to you? Because this is really the first time in your career you've had any sort of, reason to have a promoter come out and back you publicly like that.
I felt great about it. A lot of people had mixed emotions on it, and I said, shit, this is a business, and in this business, when you lose fights, you lose money. So, and I ain't in the business of losing money, and I don't think too many other people are in the business of just losing money. So, yeah, with him, you know, pulling the strings to get me back in the ring with this guy as soon as possible, I really appreciate him for that. And come Saturday, I ain't gonna let him down.
Talk to me a little bit about, for you mentally, Jalil, at this stage of your career, you probably never expected a defeat on your record right this early. What did that do for you mentally? Did it change things? Did it change how you view your career?
It was tough, but like I always tell people, I didn't come into the sport of boxing as a pro to leave the game undefeated. I came into boxing to win world titles and give the fans good ass fights. So that the one loss don't deteriorate my plans. We still could get to a world title, still gonna give the fans good ass fights. If the criteria for being a Hall of Fame fighter was being undefeated, we'd only have two fighters in the Hall of Fame. So I'm right back. I'm training hard, I'm going hard, and I'm gonna continue to give the fans what they want to see.
I ask this question a lot to fighters that maybe taste defeat for the first time, but did you really know who the real ones were around you in your circle in the immediate aftermath of that? Because, as Amma Williams, for example, he said he realised a lot of people were kind of just clinging on to him. Then that defeat comes and no one really wants to know. Did you figure that out at the time as well?
I figured that out very quickly. Within the first 72 hours after I lost. My real friends told me like, yeah, you deserve to fucking lose because you didn't go out there and dominate that guy. They expected you to go out there and whitewash him, and you didn't, so you deserve to lose. And a lot of the bandwagon guys, I ain't really heard too much from them. They disappeared. So yeah, that was that. And of course, the haters gonna hate, boy, and they was hating bad, but I appreciate them. They motivated me.
Talk to me about the hitters. So Devin Haney tweets almost instantly after the fight. I seen your reply to him at the time. What did you make of that when someone like Devin Haney is almost celebrating your first defeat?
Hey, where I'm from. That's a sign of a nigga's nervous. That defeat. He looked at it as a setback for me, and that was a step backwards from me being, one of the guys that they might offer him to fight. So shit. That tell me like I'm better than I thought. A guy who I, no matter how you feel about a person personally, as far as his accolades in the sport, he got a Hall of Fame resume already. So for a guy like that to be happy that you lost says a lot about you as a fighter.
I seen Tank Davis tweeted you a few weeks ago. He said, "Go get it, broski." Whenever you shared this, what's the conversations been like in private with Tank? Is he someone you leaned on in the aftermath of the defeat?
Uh, Not really. That whole Baltimore DC connection, it's always been like a family brotherhood type shit. As far as with me, Coach Calvin, Coach Kenny, Tank, uh, Kenny Ellis, Coach Kenny Ellis's daughter, Mia. All of us. It's always been like a family aspect. So leading up to the fight, we always talk. After the fight, we talk. Leading up to this fight, we always talk. So it wasn't really too much of like a lean on him, so to speak. It's just more of a like, you know, just keeping me right mentally. Making sure I'm staying sharp.
Jalil, last one before I let you go. What can the fans expect from Jalil Hackett on Saturday night? Are you going out here with a point to prove? Are you planning on stopping this guy and really putting a mark on this to say, you know what, I might have lost the first fight, but I'm ending it tonight?
We're going out there to get a dominant win. I don't want to leave it up to question. I don't want the judges to be able to question. I don't want the fans to be able to say, oh, well, maybe they deserve a third fight. I want a dominant fight to the point where people almost forget the first fight ever even happened.
Well, Jalil, it's a pleasure to speak to you. I look forward to watching you this Saturday night, and hopefully we'll catch up after. Appreciate your time. Thank you, bro.